Hey there, my name is Alex, I am the Silver Mont, and I was talking with some friends the other day about Elden Ring's upcoming DLC, whilst playing Elden Ring. And it got me thinking, what sort of things would you like to see from the DLC? What sort of things would I like to see in the DLC? Now keep in mind we've got a pretty good track record of DLCs when it comes to FromSoft, so we have a reasonable idea of what to expect, I'd say. But that speaking generally, we know we'll get new areas, weapons, bosses and such, and there'll probably be a ramping up of difficulty. How about more specifically, what would you like to see in Elden Ring's DLC? Well, I'll start with the most unlikely, gameplay overhauls that improve the co-op. You know how you need to summon somebody, then desummon them if you find a dungeon, then resummon them inside the dungeon? Yeah, that stuff is bizarre. And considering there's a seamless co-op mod for the game which more or less does what I'm wanting and thinking of here, it's not like it's outside the realm of possibility. Still, I don't anticipate anything like that happening. The most I could see is if they changed up the DLC areas and how they are laid out, to make co-op less awkward at times. Another unlikely, but possible feature that I'd like to see implemented is an expansion of the armour tailoring services that Bok provides, or any not bonfire provides. Right now we can remove certain parts of certain armours. It'd be nice to get more of that, but also armour dye. It would increase the fashion soul's potential exponentially if we were able to edit the colours. Whether it's changing the colour of cloth or editing metals, how about replacing steel with black iron or bronze, for example? Not really expecting this, but I'd love to see it. Finally, in terms of systems and the like, I'd enjoy having an implementation of a boss rush mode in one of the Colosseums. Make it so you can use the remembrances and somehow summon a phantom version of the boss to fight. Considering the shade of Godfrey, I don't think it's law-breaking, and it'd be nice for people who like replaying bosses. Also need a mode where we can just make spirit summons fight each other, because that's entertaining. A mode in general where you watch enemies fighting each other, maybe even bosses, maybe even betting runes or something on the winner. Well, I think that would be very amusing. Beyond that though, how about equipment, weapons, armour, spells and the like? Well, I'd like to see some more spears put in, with some better movesets and weapon arts, but then that applies to pretty much every Souls game. I'd love to get a weapon somewhat like the Lois Greatsword from Dark Souls 2 as well. Despite the huge number of swords, none hits the right note for me, at least the one that the Lois one did. Astora Greatsword from Dark Souls 3 was a nice enough version for that game, but still not quite right, you know? A new weapon class would be interesting, although I'm not really sure if there's any particular weapon classes that I would like, although I know there are certainly weapons that people are interested in. For me, I'd like to see more flails. You know how that one Knight Cavalry had a huge flail, but when you get it, it is tiny? How about we get great flails? Heavy flails. Giant, mega, oversized, colossal flails. Generally speaking though, I'm quite happy with the weapons in Elden Ring, so I'm excited to see what we get. And of course I know some people were expecting we might see some of the cut weapons put into the game of the DLC, which would make sense. As for spells though, well, my favourite spells in Elden Ring would have to be the golden incantations, such as Radagon's Rings of Light, and the black flame incantations. The former are super cool, but so many enemies are highly resistant to holy, it makes me feel as if they are somewhat pointless, as they also need quite a lot of stat investment. Black flame incantations look and sound great, and are really good too. There's just a limited selection. I'd love to have a long range one. Black flame spear, or black flame dart for example. Either a fast long range one or a slow long range one. Someone did mention that some fast long range black flame would be kind of overpowered in PvP, but I don't really care about PvP, and I think it's an unfortunate situation if we have to remove cool things from the player because they would be too good in PvP. But yes, more black flame incantations please. Beyond that, more combinations of elements, as that's something cool they've done a little bit with Elden Ring. You know, Blood Flame, Death Lightning. How about, I don't know, Holy and Rot, Blood Lightning? What about combining damage types, fire and magic in one go, with a helix of 2 different beams? In general, things like that are fun, and it's nice to give people build variety. There's still a lot of build variety you can do in Elden Ring, don't get me wrong, but more is always good. And of course, whilst we got some great dragon incantations, which Doug was very happy about because he always uses the dragon forms, even if they were not so good in the other games, unfortunately. But they were good this time, but we still need dragon form, a full body transformation. What if, when you're transformed, you can't get on Torrent, but instead of mounting on Torrent, you get another item which just makes your character glide along? It would work functionally the exact same. You would still be knocked down if you got hit enough, and you wouldn't be able to do proper attacks. It would basically just be different animations, but nothing wrong with that, and it would be entertaining to see dragon people gliding around, double jumping. As for armor, well, honestly, I just feel like I need a really cool set of silver armor, which Elden Ring was a little lacking in. There's a few options, but nothing that hit the sweet spot, you know? Also, more plumed helmets. We don't get nearly enough of those in these games. Do you remember the Falconer helm, Dark Souls 2? Top 5 helmets in the whole franchise. Remember when Ornstein's hat finally got the plume? More. I need more plumes, you cursed fool. Finally, outside of gameplay and features and whatnot is, well, I mean, I don't know how the hacking situation is in Elden Ring, as to be honest, I only really play with my friends these days, but I know the game had like an anti-cheat, so hopefully that's been working to stop hackers and stuff, but beyond that, they also need to fix the performance of the game, the stuttering, which has been in the game since launch, never been solved. A few general optimization improvements would be nice if they introduced such things with the DLC. I won't even talk about, you know, story or lore stuff, because I don't have any particular desires I'd like to see or know more about. I'm just happy to get any new stuff, and I want to be surprised. I don't want to go like, well, I want to know more about this and then be disappointed when it doesn't happen. Just hit me with whatever lore you got, Miyazaki, and I'm sure I will enjoy it, unless it involves Ranni again. You know, that's something we need. We need an ending where we just dunk on Ranni somehow. She's a nuisance, after all. But hey, what would you like to see in Shadow of the Erdtree whenever it comes out? Also, because this always happens, I feel like the second I release this video, or I finish making it, they're going to announce a release date to make me look dumb. But I will take that if it means we get a release date. Either way, catch you guys next time.